Hello and welcome to Perspectives. Once again, a reminder, if you want to contact us, please, my Twitter handle, Facebook handle, my email address is on the screen. Love to hear from you, want your comments, your feedback. People are shy to come on television. I keep inviting people every day. I keep announcing on Twitter. Anybody who wants to come forward and speak out, please do. These shows, this television, media, is not about me, the anchor, or the usual guest. It's about you. Television, especially these days, media, social media, is for your opinions, your views, your conversations. So please use it well. But when you share your opinions and views, the first thing you do is probably become unaccepting to other people's views. If I have something to say which you do not like or do not agree with, you won't tolerate it. If you have something to say to me which I don't appreciate, I won't tolerate you. People who are with me on Twitter will be saying, "You're a fine one to speak on that because I am the king of blocking." Yes, I block people left, right, and center. I'm very intolerant with people. But there is a line which you have to cross for me to block you. And that line is where you get personal, where you get judgmental, where you cuss, where you abuse, where you call me names, or where you unnecessarily interfere in my business. That's the point where I block you. Other than that, I want your criticism. I want you to tell me what you think. But be intelligent about it. Be fair about it. If you wish to accuse me, attack me, just for the sake of reducing me to your size, don't do that. I may be fat, I may be overweight, I may be taller. Don't cut me down. Tell me I'm wrong, and I will listen to you. I call myself fat as an example. I don't think I'm fat. Dalai Lama says, in the practice of tolerance, one's enemy is the best teacher. So if you're my enemy, if you're criticizing me, you're my best teacher. I would love it if you can prove me wrong. Because when you prove me wrong, you've taught me something new. If you haven't proven me wrong, I've learned nothing new. I'd be fixed on my opinions, my views, what my parents taught me, what my schooling taught me, what my life taught me, and I've learned nothing new. And there comes this person who says, "Hang on, you're doing something wrong." I would have to listen to him or her, argue, stand my point, and hopefully get proven wrong. And when I'm proven wrong, I would have learned something new and found an opportunity to better myself. That is tolerance. Unfortunately, and here I would like to open the show, I feel that a lot of cultures have become very intolerant to other people's views and opinions. Just before the show, I was thinking of how to open the show, so open the dictionary. When I have nothing to say in the beginning, I look at the dictionary. Tolerance is defined as the ability or willingness to tolerate the existence of opinions or behavior that one dislikes or disagrees with. The question for today, is Pakistan becoming intolerant about other people's views, opinions, ideologies? And I'm not invoking the word religion here, because that's a touchy subject. And on this note, I would like to share my sorrow and my grief on the absolute shameless and very, very painful killing of innocent people, probably in the name of religion. I say probably because I feel these are enemies of this country trying to instigate violence. They're not, I like to believe that they're not killing any sect or any group because they dislike them. They're doing it only to instigate further violence, because people from every sect and every group are slowly being targeted. We saw another instance in Jacobabad today, which was a completely different group. So maybe I would like to believe, once again, that this is an act of terrorism and sheer, shameless violence and not religious differences. This is my hope. But my topic today is why we lack tolerance in general life, in our daily life, in our relationships, in our work, in our homes. My guests I'd like to introduce. On my right, I have Ms. Raeda Latif, who's an ex-banker and now a businesswoman. Raeda, thank you very much for being here. It's a pleasure. With her, I've got Dr. Shakeel Farooqui. He's a scholar and an educationist. Thank you very much for being here. On my left, I've got Ms. Nadda Salim, who is a fashion designer, but she's part of a new breed of very important people in the society who I would like to call the vocal activists. It is very rare to find people who are willing to speak out, and Nadda is someone who does not does not hold her words back. Thank you, Nadda. Thank you for taking the time out. Do you carry a gun?
No, I do not.
Are you well protected?
By you, yeah.
Nadda and I had this ongoing argument about gun control. And with Nadda, I brought Ms. Sumeta Syed, who is a clinical psychologist. Sumeta, thank you very much for being here. Also, I'd like to start with you. Am I right in saying that we have become intolerant to views and opinions, or am I wrong? And I would like to sow another seed for discussion. I feel this, my apologies, I've got Mr. Imran from London on telephone with us. Imran, thank you. My apologies, I forgot to introduce you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you, Imran.
Salam to everyone there.
Thank you very much. Imran, I'll just come right back to you. Imran is in London, is on phone with us. Also, I'd like to start with you. Do you feel that intolerance that we are seeing on our streets in our lives and opinions today, maybe it has started from things as far as simple as when you get married, your mother-in-law is not to be trusted. Your daughter-in-law is not to be trusted. Get married to a boy who doesn't have a family, so he has no responsibilities. So we've created this complete intolerance of other people. Am I right?
I believe that tolerance is something much simpler than what you are talking about. We have included so many different human behaviors in the expression of tolerance. Tolerance itself is a relative term. Different people show tolerance to different degree, but there are preemptions. There are other human sentiments that get involved and make things very complicated.
Right.
And a number of times I think that why tolerance? Why we give so much importance to tolerance? I believe that it is a compromise on our part. We don't want to go any further than tolerance. What about acceptance? Why can't we accept the diversity, different type of people with different backgrounds?
Different opinions.
Different opinions. When we accept them, well, then there is no question of tolerance. You accept them as they are there. And that would be the best thing we can do in this society. Well, in Pakistan, I think it will be very sweeping remark to say that we have become an intolerant country. But yes, we are impatient. We are finding it difficult to whatever problems we are having. Due to that problems, we are finding it difficult to put up with people. And we want everything to go the way we want it. And that is the problem. I think it is something less than intolerance.
You said it's a sweeping statement when I say that Pakistanis are intolerant. But there's a general global perception, rather, that we are intolerant. Is it because of media hype against us? Or are we actually intolerant on our streets when listening to a child? I told you, so you do it. Don't you dare question me. That is also, we are inculcating, I believe, intolerance or lack of tolerance from the very beginning, from when the child is 2 years old.
That's what I would say, because it's not now. It's happened in the previous 2 or 3 generations that it's happened. The fact that we've become intolerant. As human beings, we are intolerant. We are impatient. That is the way psychology, I would say, human psychology or behavior is. What civilized nations do, they train themselves to that level. They tame their emotions to that level where they become tolerant and acceptable of others as they are. So yes, in the beginning, we had more, as per our religion, I would say, it teaches us tolerance, it teaches us patience. Human nature, it is intolerant. But religion, it teaches us these things. And then from the West, from civilized nations also, we see and we learn that yes, they have progressed through the years because of the fact that they've been tolerant of and acceptable of others. So, yes.
You invoked religion here. Correct me if I'm wrong. Surah Asr guarantees that we are doomed, unless if we do whatever sabr. So if we don't have the patience, God guarantees our doom.
Exactly.
Am I right, sir?
Yes.
So, given that, Imran, I'd like to come to you. There's a global perception that Pakistanis are intolerant. And yes, of course, the connotation is religious, but my topic today is beyond religion, not just religion, but general life as well. Why do you think the global opinion about us that we are intolerant exists? Is it true? Is it just hype?
I think generally our society is not as that intolerant as we are, but every society in the world has extremist elements, and the extremist elements we have, and they take the major coverage on the media, because every second day you see on the media, the news are coming up, so many dead, and basically the terrorists and all these, they should be marginalized, but they are not marginalized. So they have taken over the media, not physically taken over the media, but the news which are basically sound bites and whatever we are hearing all the time right from the beginning, 9 a.m. in the beginning to midnight, that the bomb blasts in Quetta, Lahore, and everywhere. So basically, these are the news which are going across, and these are reflecting in the newspapers as well. And generally, people are not that intolerant, but that the level of intolerance we have in the society can be managed by the well education, because we haven't been very well like bullying and all these kind of you can say the education in our education system very well placed these sort of things. So I think I would blame these more sort of basically the marginalized section of our society, which is basically the extremists and which is taken over all this media.
Okay. Sumeta, you're a psychologist. I'd like you to comment on a couple of things. Bullying is much more rampant in the US and the UK. UK is severe bullying.
Yes.
They've got some serious laws against it. It's a major problem. In the US, every few days, there's a gunslinger who kills a bunch of kids in schools. Doesn't mean every American is a gunslinger. In the US, there's a lot of crime. Mr. Shami was on a show this evening, and I really loved. He was just burning with passion. And he was saying, not every Pakistani is a terrorist. Not every American is a murderer. Not every Britisher is a thief. But why do we completely label ourselves? I do not even blame media here. They're just reporting news. That does not make a nation of 180 million people intolerant.
That's I differ from that side of the room.
You've already made sides, haven't you? Okay.
Yeah, the sides. I just want to say, I think Pakistanis are very tolerant for the fact that we go through so much every day. Western people or people in the UK or people in the West, they really don't go through the same issues that we go on here.
Well said. Well said.
And then from my part, being the psychologist and coming across a lot of personalities, Dr. Saab said that yes, it's something, it's a practice. It's actually a practiced attitude. Tolerance is a practiced attitude. It's a behavior. Psychologists study behavior. So yes, every person is going to be different on the level of tolerance or intolerance that we have. So yes, as being a Pakistani, I just feel that we go through so much every day, and I think we are the most tolerant people around. So, add something here.
Please.
There's a difference between tolerance and resilience. As a nation, we're resilient. It's our masses, it's our middle classes that are very resilient. So in spite of these blasts, in spite of the thefts, in spite of what all is happening, the inflation, the lack of worth of money, everything, they still get up in the morning, they still go to their workplaces, whatever they are busy in doing, and they still face, it's the resilience. Tolerance is a slightly different thing. Tolerance is more like, accepting somebody or, but it is a practice attitude, right? It is a practice attitude towards religion, towards cultures, towards ethnicities, towards diversity, towards everything.
Okay, now I want you to comment. Sumeta says it's a practiced attitude, which I would like you to comment. Second, on the lighter side of things, when Raeda says that we are resilient, I think our apathy proves that we're quite tolerant of whatever happens. We don't really care.
No, I think as far as the resilience spirit is concerned, we might be resilient, but I think we're blasé. Most people are not, being resilient is one thing, but being indifferent toward things is another. And I do think that Pakistani society going through so much every day, I agree with you, our people go through a lot of stuff we have to put up with and survive. And basically, after going through all that, you have kids to feed. People are worried about feeding their kids, making ends meet, putting food on the table, and it's about survival. It's not about his problem or her problem. It's about my problem, my kid's problem. It's all about me and my family. How to make ends meet, how to survive. So what that does is that overall our society has become blasé about other people's problems. Yes, we hear it on the news. Yes, we hear it everywhere. But you become indifferent to it because there's so much of it. It's not occasionally, it's regularly. And when something like that happens on a regular scale, you tune out. You become so used to it that these things don't matter anymore. So there are very few people who actually come out and talk about it, that it's not okay. It's not okay. We need to stand up and talk about it. And most people don't. They either don't have the guts to do it, or they're just scared. And that's the problem.
There's no apathy, you're saying?
I think that even if there's apathy, people would rather mind their own business and not comment. That's
for one reason or the other.
Whatever reason.
Okay. The second part says, is it a practiced attitude? And I got an interesting tweet just now from Muhammad Dayan. He says, Pakistanis are anything but tolerant. We're ignorant, he says, there's a difference. Now, I was going to come to that. Is it a practiced attitude, or tolerance really comes from understanding who you are, having self-esteem, and then you say, I'm grounded, I'm above the argument?
Tolerance comes with exposure. Tolerance comes with your upbringing. Tolerance comes through education. I think no matter what your background is, if you have been brought up in a household where you have been conditioned that no matter what anybody's religion or background or color or creed or whatever it is, they are still human beings. They deserve your respect. Whether you like it or you don't like it, you don't like their views, they deserve your respect. If you have been brought up with that, there is no way you would ever doubt anybody else, even if they are going against whatever you've said, even if they are talking against your religion or your upbringing or whatever it is. You would never you wouldn't lose your cool on it. It's as simple as that.
Okay, now I need to take a short break. When I come back, I'd like to start with Imran. Imran, you're living in the UK. There's massive exposure. There's exposure to all kinds of views, opinions, religions, cultures, ethnicities. Everything is there. Yet, intolerance, I like to believe, is rampant in the Western society more than our society, because we may have a few thousand people who are intolerant, but the 180 million people are quite tolerant, I like to believe. But the West, the industrialized nations, are probably more intolerant. Unfortunately, maybe we just label that. Let's take a short break. People staying with us, my apologies. We just got kind of excited during the break. Everyone had an opinion, and the discussions branched out to its lack of education, lack of better upbringing, lack of acceptability. But I'd like to open the floor to everyone. But I'm going to start with Imran. Imran, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. Imran, I'd like you to comment that I believe that countries which do not have the typical problems that may be in Pakistan or India are probably more intolerant generally to opinions and views than we are. Their social taboos may prevent them from commenting on such, but they are intolerant. Please comment.
Yes, in actually developed countries, what I have noticed here, basically the human behavior is quite frankly is the same in all societies. But generally, this tolerance, they are basically teaching their kids right from the beginning. And people are much more scared than seeing somebody as like any racial taunts like nigger or any kind of thing. Then they are more scared than like blasphemous things as we have in Pakistan. Like,
yeah, but racial slur in England.
Yes, because there is London is especially multicultural. London is basically very multicultural. So in my son's class, he's got 26 children, and 24 different nationalities. And there are special lessons about this, how to basically accommodate the other race. And you can't comment on their religion, you can't comment on their colors, you can't comment on if anything these things happen. So it is right from the beginning when they start teaching these sort of things here.
Okay, Mehman, I'm going to have to disagree and I'd like to open the floor here. I've got two tweets from Fursid. One, he says, I agree on the point that we're anything but resilient. He's agreeing with you. And the other was that we've become more of an indifferent, selfish bunch who doesn't budge until directly affected. Warning, I will read your tweets as you send them without actually censoring anything, so be careful. Thank you, Fursid, for those comments. Now, I'm taking offense because Britain, massive racial slur, Pakis and those terms come from there. We didn't invent them. Please, Nadda.
What about Pakistanis? We have racial slurs for every sect in this society.
Sure, but that doesn't make us unique. That's my point.
But then over there, no. Over there, internationally, abroad, the thing is that if somebody has a racial slur, it is looked down upon. Over here, it's not looked down upon. Over here, it's like, it's part of the joke and it's funny and haha, let's laugh on it.
That's again,
lack of education, that lack of your...
in Pakistan are not capable of doing that. Only in the big cities, the educated people, and only a part of those educated people do that. So if you start counting the people, well, it's only a very small proportion which gets involved into that practice.
But even, I think if we take it back into the rural areas, don't you agree that
do you expect them to make
they do make
racial
there's
comments
not a common thing like that. I agree. I think there is
everything from
the Haris
to Bengalis to Pathans to Punjabis to
What Dr.
everything.
Singh is an urban trend.
This is urban.
I don't think it's an urban.
I think it's an urban and rural. I think there is this rural and side. Rural and urban.
Life is much simpler in the rural
they relate.
It's very different.
Okay, let's focus on urban. Given we in English, an English channel, given the audience, let's even take urban. Do you really think, beyond Marhum Muin Akhtar's jokes about Memans and Punjabis and that's humor? Do we actually hold grudges and intolerance against because you're wearing a shalwar, so I will not tolerate you and I will condemn you and damn? We don't do that.
I mean, don't you think that when rishtas are happening and you're proposing, don't you...
There's biases.
There's biases. There's
not
about certain
you live
caste
in a big metropolitan city. Okay, here.
Even here.
You like chicken kadai? Came from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa?
Yes.
You like chiverts, the Peshawari chappals?
Yeah.
It's part of fashion. You wear shalwar kameez. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto introduced that, and it became very popular. So we are adopting every cultural thing without any racial discrimination. Actually,
right, but from my point of view,
different things. Those are
okay. Let me ask you. Are you intolerant of other people?
No, not really.
Doctor, are you?
No, not at all.
Are you?
Not at all.
Are you?
I respect every personality.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you know anyone who is severely intolerant about other people and
yes,
and
I can comment.
You do.
I know people, all those, and I'm sorry to say this on TV and will be national television, that it's mostly the religious people who are more intolerant.
But do you know anyone?
You don't call them religious. See, again,
I know it's wrong
to be religious.
No, but my question was, do you know anyone?
Well, yeah, those people who are inclined that way, and I know them, they are
educated, upper class,
and all of that, and they are more intolerant than the illiterate ones. I'm sorry to say.
Second, remember you started off by saying that does our media and do they depict this? Yes, they do. With our TV dramas and everything,
I agree.
You are not going to get married to that person because he's this way or that way or this way or that caste or that.
He's poor, he's rich.
Yeah, he's poor, he's rich. He's from that ethnicity, from this ethnicity. So yes, there is a lot of intolerance. If we were to label it like that, not intolerance, it's not acceptance.
It's a matter of preference.
Preference and not accepting.
That's not right. Lack of acceptability, not because of your character. I'm saying because you're wearing a black color tie, I don't like you, regardless of whether you're a good man or not.
No, it's not like that. It's natural. You would like to sit with the people with whom you can communicate.
You can communicate to a Punjabi or a Sindhi or a Balochi.
An educated Punjabi person and an educated Sindhi person.
It's not matter of Punjabi or Pathan or anything.
But
there is a different practice
over here. That's what we're saying. It doesn't matter to us, but majority of people, it has been drilled into them that they, whatever they are, is better than whoever else.
So there is a superiority complex.
Yes, everyone thinks they are superior, whatever.
Be it a mother-in-law, a daughter-in-law, or a nanda or a baba.
It can go other way around too. A number of people think that, well, we won't suit in that kind of society. So, well, we better stay away. We cannot get along with
some integration between the...
It goes both ways. It's natural.
See, being tolerant,
but then it's not normal. It might be natural, but if you're living in a civilized
society,
it's
very simple. If I were to comment,
no, I don't agree with that. I think if you are saying that this is an urban phenomena in Pakistan, then you have to also admit that in living in cities, then you have to have some way of dealing with this, and you need to become more tolerable, and you need to try to understand, even if you don't, try to understand and be respectful of whatever the other is.
Simple example
what about Indian reservations in the United States? What about Chinatowns in the United States? Do you think it's due to intolerance?
So
what you are talking about,
that it never mattered to me that if I'm living in Houston and somebody else is living in Chicago. But here it does matter if you're living in Sindh or living in Punjab. It does matter.
People
do label you.
Sumeta has a point.
Nobody in my family or people that I lived with for 14 years in Houston, Texas, used to say, oh, she's from Chicago. Oh, we're not going to talk to her because she's from... Not even in high school. But when you are
there's no judgment either.
There's no judgment on border-wise.
But on the other hand...
It's because...
Border-wise. Actually, there you go. Tolerance is something else. Again, as I said, being tolerant of somebody working in the same space with somebody of a different nationality or belonging to a different caste is another thing. But when it comes to maybe bringing that person or joining that person in family, then it becomes preference. So you have to draw a line. Yes, tolerating them, it's okay.
Good point. Very good point.
Understanding their opinion, but association.
Let's talk about Karachi. People in defense in Clifton, don't they say people on the other side of the bridge?
See, it's the people on the other side.
Moolah. That's coming from Moolah.
But that's intolerance. That is not acceptable.
Maybe coming from new money.
And even if you want to leave the marriage and everything away, coming to workplaces, I think even there's big discrimination in women and men ratio at work as well. If you were to incorporate that, you can't. Because I worked at a wonderful company, but again, the ratio of women. If I was to compare, if I'm comparing everything with the States or the West, I see big differences.
Okay, I'm gonna throw in a new one here. I'm gonna throw in a new point here. We taunt too much. I don't think we're necessarily intolerant, but what
Nadda just
mentioned
is what you're
that, you know what? Just this morning, Faisal Lakhani on Twitter was really taking me to task that I am the burger type and I can't eat bun kebab, and if I eat a bun kebab, I eat with a knife and a fork. So exactly what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it's all a joke, humor. But at some level, maybe it is inculcating that taunting, that intolerance, lack of acceptance of each other. Whether I eat my bun kebab with a fork and a knife or with my hand shouldn't really... just one moment. What I'm saying is we don't hear such jokes in industrialized societies. We have probably not matured to that level. Imran, would you like to comment on that?
Yes, I would certainly say that, one basically very traditional thing, but in Pakistan, when people look for rishtas, and they try to look for rishtas in their own community.
Yeah.
And this is one of the reasons, one of the depiction basically of this being intolerant to other culture or other tribe or whatever. Punjabis are looking for rishta in Punjabis, Urdu speaking are looking for rishtas in Urdu speaking.
Oh, so you're saying it's not Pakistanis looking for Pakistanis, but it's communities looking for within their communities.
Yes, within their communities. Sindhis looking within Sindhis. So this is also one of the... So it means basically society is intolerant, but it can be... And all societies are intolerant. So that's what I said in the beginning. But they can be taught right from the beginning. Education is the only way to turn this side the other way around. And it can only minimize it with the education. You can't take it all, wipe it out, or just reduce it to the level of zero. No, you can't.
Okay.
You can just minimize it with education.
Okay, I'm going to bring back another point. I understand that I comment on the taunting, but I want to raise one more point here. More than being intolerant, are we protective of who we are because we're too scared of Raeda is of a different kind, but I have such lack of confidence in I'm protective of who I am, so I refuse to accept her. It's not intolerance, it's not lack of tolerance, it's fear of my own position. Am I right, Afsar?
Yes.
And I would like your...
And I would second her on that when she said everybody thinks that.
Obviously, you made your side, you're going to second her.
Yes, we're on different school of thought. But I picked this place, right?
Go on.
Like she mentioned before, that I think everybody thinks that they're superior to the other kind.
Yeah.
Maybe that is something that...
Well, I'm taking it to different angles. Maybe I don't feel that you're superior. Maybe I just feel that I need to protect who I am.
So
Protective.
insecure. Maybe everyone
Insecurity.
is so insecure in
So
themselves.
that comes down to then your self-esteem and then your upbringing and then your how you were educated and then there's a lot of things that goes into it.
Yeah.
From like your cognitive development to everything.
I'm unable to understand one thing. That if people are going for their choice, why do we say that they are intolerant?
That's right. Because you're wearing a black suit, I'm wearing a black suit, I want to be your friends, that's fine.
Yes.
But if I say that because Raeda is wearing a purple, oh, she's bad, she's not acceptable.
But that doesn't happen.
But that does happen.
As far as you were talking about...
I'm sorry, I'm going to just take a main label. But, if she's Urdu speaking, we don't want Sindhi son to marry him.
Or if she's a Shia, we don't want Sunni.
Or if she's a Shia, I don't, a Sunni household would not want.
This is a community thing.
But then we should have acceptance. We should have if it's a nice person, it's a nice family, if it's an educated background.
It happens in every country.
It happens.
No.
No, it does not. I strongly disagree
on that. If a Pakistani goes and likes an American girl, wants to marry, and girl is ready to, once at least, their parents think about it. It happens. But, well, the institution of marriage goes there in a different way from others.
Can I twist the example slightly? Take the Pakistani out of it. If a German man wants to marry an American girl, they won't be so confused. And take the Pakistani, because they're scared of us. Right or wrong? I'm not saying right.
And another thing is that perhaps I'm afraid that we have to revisit the term tolerance, how we are taking it. I initially said it is a relative term. It itself is relative, and it is relative in the perspective as well. Look at Pakistan. How diverse this society is. Cultural diversity.
But compartmentalized.
Exactly, divided by borders.
No.
I'm
sorry, we haven't covered the border. I'm sorry, no, not compartments. The ethnic backgrounds that you have, it's a big spectrum.
Okay.
Compare it with the United States or compare it with United Kingdom. Do you find them on the same level?
Actually, I feel like I'm advocating for the U.S., but I'm not.
No.
But then again,
it's not
there's Caucasians, there's Spanish people, there's Mexican people.
You are much more multicultural.
No.
And you are much more diverse.
So he's right, we are, but we're not accepting of it.
But see, the point is diversity is there. Nobody's denying the diversity, but there's no respect for that diversity. That's the problem.
And we're not mingling.
We are in the compartments that he's talking about. People are in their own societies.
Let me bring it to
and they're happy in that.
Let me bring it to
Dr. Saab is going to have some hard time with us three girls now. No, it's about respect, I would say. There in the West, like you talk about the US or we talk about UK. UK mein Ireland, the Irish, the Scottish, there is a lot of difference and they discriminate as well, but they do not spell it out because they may feel it. The social norms do not permit. In the US also, you do not call an African or a dark guy anything other than American. If you call him black or a nigger, you're out, man. They basically call him African American. Yeah,
well,
you do, but
they thought that political correctness does not mean the hearts have changed.
Exactly.
But maybe following the rules and regulations
themselves. They follow certain rules. That's tamed. We're not tamed.
Let me bring it to
taking her step forward.
Please.
Just to take whatever you spoke about or told us about. I think yes, in the U.S. because of the political you have to use the correct terminology, or against it counts against you, obviously, in the court of law, whatever. But yes, I think we should have then strict laws that
help
It's
us
not even
actually...
that, as well as your upbringing, as you said,
But the
if
laws
our
cannot do
parents,
that.
But at least if you have
upbringing,
laws and that's
let us
No,
look
no,
at
no.
upbringing. If my parents,
upbringing, a white guy and a black guy, they usually, if you go into their
see very
areas,
rare.
there is still some
yes,
right?
But that's
because
fear. That's
of-
not
that's not
fear.
even fear,
If I was in the middle of night walking down Bronx, I'd be scared too. But that's just basic fear.
they make a conscious effort.
Officer of the High Commissioner in London, just a couple of weeks back.
Yeah.
Okay,
What's that?
I'm going to bring another discussion here. I think what's happening is that the countries we keep referring to, be it US, be it UK, be it France, Europe, heavily, they have intermingled. The colored and the whites and the yellows, they've all sort of intermarried, intermingled, and they're creating a new generation. Over in Pakistan and India, very heavily, we just refuse to intermingle. We are still diverse, we still have cultures, we still haven't come out as a breed. I am of Punjabi origin, but you know what? I can't differentiate anymore. If I go back 40 years, there was less difference in our ethnicity. Today we have more differences because we are tightening our compartments, and that is either coming from fear or intolerance. I don't know. I'm going to include one tweet from Abru Aisha, and she says, I disagree, be it east or west, the coherent nature of humor and sarcasm is based on making fun of something. Yes, Aisha, I agree, but not making fun of someone or someone's attributes, someone's characteristics. You don't make fun of that beyond a certain point. Eddie Murphy could be making fun of the nigger or the white man, but to an extent. We as a nation make fun.
But see, the thing about jokes on racism is that we as Pakistanis can call ourselves Pakis.
Mm-hmm.
You know, blacks can call themselves nigger.
Absolutely.
Jews can joke about themselves. Everyone is like that. Okay, but anybody else doing it is unacceptable and it's racist. Okay,
So we are intolerant about
so
that.
this is something that which world over everyone is intolerant because it's like our own can say it but others can't.
Yeah, but then that's not intolerance. That's actually tolerance, that you have to respect.
Because they are giving you this rule, कि ठीक है, you whatever you want to say to
I'll tell you what's intolerance.
Say it.
I'll tell you what's
don't say it to others.
let me make this intolerance very real right now. Here's a man with a beard. He's a mullah, and he's a conservative, and he's a psychopath, and I don't want to deal with him. And I'm sure he eats a lot of halwa. And
after that, he wants to say
probably
something.
disapproves
Yeah.
of
Well, the thing is that those are all the assumptions.
Okay.
So is that not intolerance?
No.
Just because, I mean, he could be a perfectly thorough gentleman who sounds like you and me and eats like you and me, but I would judge him on his appearance. I would have preconceived notions, and I would not tolerate him. That is intolerance.
That is true.
And that exists.
The other thing is, there is a woman sitting in jeans, wearing blazer, in a shirt. She is a fast woman. Isn't that intolerant?
But
Absolutely.
again, I would add, it's your insecurity. Because you feel that this man with the beard doesn't approve of you. That's why you are intolerant.
The whole world is insecure about us.
No.
Well,
But that has more to do with fundamentalism.
there is no
Not
danger to my faith because of your presence here. Okay? So I'm very much secure. Don't worry about that.
Thank you.
But you talked about France.
Yeah.
What happened there 4 or 5 years back? Raj.
Sure.
Okay? Only 2 color skins, and they cannot hold it. Here in India and Pakistan, what a cultural diversity we have. So many skin colors, so many languages, so many ethnic backgrounds. In that background, our tolerance record is still better than UK and France. Look at the relative terms. Compare these. We have so much diversity. But still, we are holding together as a nation. And this is something to cherish.
So I repeat again that we are tolerant people. Yes, we are. We are very tolerant.
And if you want to talk about the religious thing there, what's happening in Northern Ireland? What about 1844 anti-Bible, 1488 Bible, 1844?
Let's not go to the 19th century.
And anti-Bible, it's still going on. It's still going on the religious basis. But that is not a religious problem. It's a political problem. What's happening in Pakistan today? Not much religious. It's political. Now,
Well then, but if you come to the religious part, it is religious
even
here.
if it's political, the point is that
They
how
are
are they
accepting
dealing with
each
how
other.
are they spreading their politics? They're spreading their politics
They-
through
they-
intolerance
they-
and
they
hatred
are
and by
spreading their
making
politics.
sure
they are spreading their politics
Yeah.
through us.
So it's and through religious parties as well.
Well,
If
through
the,
all
so
the
there is
parties.
religion everywhere.
See, look at this thing. In Pakistan, we talk about this political party belongs to that province. That political party, another
it's
province.
all on ethnic.
It is, this
Ethnic
political
divide.
party has ethnic background. This political party has religious background. Where is the national political party?
Yeah.
We need to
I-
we need to create one.
Yeah. We were
This is the
discussing this
point that
earlier.
we need to discuss and we have to pay attention to. We are getting carried away into this political game.
Okay. Aisha Abru has sent another message. She says, what does scare me is the fact that we are losing our comedians and don't really have a stand-up comedy culture when different. Now, it's interesting that Abru has raised
Perhaps
that.
you talked about Muin Akhtar and
Exactly,
that's what she
because
was referring
because
to.
those
Yeah.
jokes softened the differences. Imran, I would like your comments and your concluding comments as well. Do you think humor is acceptable to a point or to any point where people can joke about others to an extent like the West does? Imran,
Yes,
Avalon?
definitely.
Yeah,
Yes,
please.
yes, definitely. Yeah. Different basically scenario to look at the perspective of that things, the racial things and whatever the things is, tolerance things. It makes you fun of those things and take those things as a lightly, not that like really something which you can feel embarrassed or whatever about.
So eventually the differences get softened out.
I think
Yes,
humor is very
definitely,
important, but then where is the humor coming from? The humor should be by entertainers, by all of that. It should not be coming from the random person who maybe does not know how to, maybe it could be offensive depending on your audience, who your audience is. You can't have like, let's say a normal person, on the street coming and saying something to you which might be very personal to you. And you can't be offensive
So a group
to
of people know, but
and an
comedian,
entertainer, a comedian on a stage or in a play can say all those things, and it's funny.
I'm
and
sure
it's
all
a
of us
show.
have enjoyed Russell Peters to an extent.
asking you.
I love Russell
Dr.
Peters.
Sabas, a question?
I feel like asking you with your permission.
Sir,
How
please.
was your day?
Sorry?
How was your day?
Great.
It was normal? Perfect?
Can I
Nothing
ask
happened?
Good.
Where is this going?
Yeah.
All right, fine. Because, well, why can people have humor? Why we designate certain people in our society?
I'm not saying no. See, you're misrepresenting what
No,
I said.
I'm not misrepresenting.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Let me finish
I'm
at
sorry.
least. Let me finish.
Perhaps I didn't understand. It's not a matter of
Okay, fine. So
misrepresenting.
you didn't understand. I'll be clear about it now. It's okay. Humor is fantastic. Everyone needs humor in life. But you cannot have racial humor randomly people. I cannot go and start joking about other races because I'm not a comedian, number one. I might actually offend people who are sitting
So not
there.
at the cost of someone's
So,
self-esteem.
yes, you cannot be offensive to people just for your own, pleasure.
And because comedians we
It's
take
rude.
as answers,
It's rude.
comedians
can do
that's
that.
okay.
Comedians can get away with it.
But
Anchor people
who
can do
does
that. They can
If I'm cracking a joke in a group of my friends, whatever it is, if my friends can tolerate it, fine.
But she's
we
talking about
cannot
random
do that.
rules. I'm
Yeah.
talking
But that's
about at the
perfectly all right.
expense of other people.
What you do in your private gatherings is perfect. We're not concerned with
perfect,
that.
exactly.
But when that translates into your, I'm going to be very, very
Collective
blunt here.
thinking.
I'm going to be very blunt here. You're driving down the street and you see a man or a woman who's got herself covered with a veil, or a man with a large beard driving. It's a preconceived notion. He's going to or she's going to break the law. Oh, they don't know how to drive. It's a preconceived notion. But that notion has come from years of analysis. And now we've become intolerant of that. We typically say, "Arey, daadi dekh aur kya kar raha hai?" We hit that.
What's wrong with that? If somebody thinks
that's
that way,
very offensive,
no,
sir.
someone is inside his car and making this comment which no one can hear.
But we say
Come on.
we say it to the face.
That's what you feel within. That will reflect your future
Thank you.
judgment.
And your
You're
kids,
being judgmental at the end of
your
the
next
day.
generations
There-
are going to
there are
be
always-
like
That's
that.
what you teach to your
but they have
kids.
very strong
Exactly.
points.
So your kids will teach to their
There-
kids
Yeah,
and their kids
so
to their
True.
kids. So this is
There-
going to go on
listen,
forever.
there are always good people and bad people in the society.
That's where the upbringing comes
Dr.
in.
That's a very
This is
strong
the-
point
this
here.
is
If someone,
But you cannot leave that legacy
No,
behind.
but that's a very
Listen,
strong point you made.
there are always good people and bad people in the society, and if someone has made a mistake, we cannot condemn that person.
No, but also, they have a strong point.
There should be an acceptance.
But there's a very strong point here. Now, if for the first time I've understood why making those laws, I was joking about America's political correctness.
Yes.
But now I realize I take that. Because you see, if they control one generation from saying it, the next generation would completely forget it.
Know about it.
They'll completely forget. So if we are still saying it in our cars, in our bedrooms, in our homes, we are inculcating it to children, and another 20 years are lost.
Like this.
But
that's
you
a strong
have to say
point.
it once, and the kids pick up like this.
But we have to accept this thing. This is a reality that there are always good people and bad people in every society, in every country. We cannot take this yardstick and go everywhere and start correcting
But we
people.
can try.
That is where intolerance starts.
But we can try to maybe
it's at your own level. Smaller. It's at your own level, and I'd like to come back to where you finished, where you began. That it's the media.
I rest my case.
We constantly hear this went wrong, this went wrong, this went wrong, and each channel is constantly, repeatedly repeating the same thing. We become intolerant because of these things.
Thank you.
You need to.
I need to cut short my apologies. Raeda, Dr. Shakeel Saab, Nadda, Sumeta, and Mr. Imran on the phone with us. Thank you very much, all of you. I don't have time for a long closure, but I'd like to just comment. What I've really understood is if we change our values today, if we change the way we behave, if we change, even if it's superficial. I had earlier joked about, they're not calling a black man nigger, but their hearts haven't changed. But I stand corrected. If we stop saying it even superficially for 15 years, our next generation would have never heard those words, would have never heard the slur, would have never heard the word intolerance. So it is important and very, very, just crucial for us, for the next generation, that we start loving and accept, even if we don't love, just accept each other. Just let people be. And with that note, I want to thank all of you. Imran Saab, thank you very much from London. Again, my Twitter, Facebook handle is on the screen. We need to hear from you. Most of these people are coming from Twitter. There's a space for you to come and speak out. Until next time, good night.